showed the world that one voice can challenge injustice. And today we're gathering educators, leaders, diplomats, youth advocates, entrepreneurs like me, change makers, and anyone who can continue and give voice to that mission. But beyond voice, action, to actually live this way. It reminds us that history has often changed because of one single courageous act. One person willing to stand up for what is right. Malala showed the world that age does not determine courage and that education is not a privilege. It is a fundamental human right. So Malala's story is not just about one girl, it's about millions of girls whose dreams are limited by poverty or conflict or discrimination or tradition or religion, whatever it is. Her message challenges us to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to leave for the next generation? And the answer begins with education. So education is for more than learning to read and write. It gives people confidence to ask questions and develop skills. So thank you for joining us for this important global conversation on education, opportunity and empowerment. Personally, I want to thank Virginia Rivera, who always pulls me into these things and reminds me, because she is actually empowerment with legs. She's inspiration with legs. And she actually reminds me daily that it's not enough for me to do or to say. I have to actually make and encourage others to do too. So thank you, Virginia, for reminding me of that. So it's my absolute honor to introduce our CEO, a global systems builder and champion for education and for women's empowerment, and someone that has truly, truly, truly inspired me for a couple of years now, since I had the honor of having her in my life. When you have a Virginia, you need nothing else. So welcome, Virginia Rivera. Dr. Virginia Rivera, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Linda. Wow, those words definitely moved me and they energized me. I want to know, everybody know it's only 7:30 in the morning where I'm at. So I love to receive all that beautiful energy this early in the morning. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, Linda. Before I begin, I would like to recognize and thank our wonderful host today, Mrs. Linda Pereira. Linda is not only one of the world's most respected communication strategists, she's also a passionate advocate for education, women's leadership, and global development. Her ability to connect people, ideas across cultures makes her an extraordinary ambassador for positive change. She is a force. So thank you, Linda, for being here. Your voice is resounding. You're lending us your voice, your wisdom, and your leadership on this very important occasion. And like you said, Malala Day or World Malala Day is not a regular day. It took just somebody young that went through something horrible, and she made the best of that situation. And today we celebrate because she was courageous, because she was fostered into being a brave girl. And this is what happens at home when we really work with our children and we don't crush their spirits, but we allow them to fly. We allow them to grow. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, educators, diplomats, youth leaders, members of the International Internship University family, Mahila Udyami Foundation family, friends from around the world, and I'm so happy to see you all here. And most importantly, the young people whose futures inspire our work every single day. Welcome. Today we gather, like I said before, and like Linda said so beautifully, to celebrate a young woman whose courage changed the course of history. I also want to celebrate her father, such an integral part of her way of being, of her way of thinking, of the way she was being brought up. Today we gather to celebrate Malala Yousafzai, but she was never seeking fame. She didn't want to be famous. She just wanted to go to school. She was seeking something that was so fundamental, the right to learn. Let's pause right there. She wasn't looking for anything else. She was just looking for the right to learn. When others tried to silence her, she spoke. And when others tried to limit her future, she imagined a bigger one that involved all of us. And when the world watched her overcome unimaginable adversity, because we all saw it, she transformed from a single voice into a global movement, from one young voice to millions. Malala reminded us that education is not a privilege. Today we say it is a human right. She reminded us that courage does not come from power, courage comes from conviction. How many times do we think how powerful she is or he is, and we don't believe in our own power? You don't need to be empowered. You already are powerful. And she reminded us of this. One determined individual can inspire millions, but most importantly, can cause accelerated change. And that is what we're looking for today. That is why our theme today, from one voice to millions, is so important. Because this gathering is not about one person. It is about every girl who dreams to become a teacher, scientist, an entrepreneur, a doctor, a priestess, a leader, or simply the best version of who she is. It is about educators who will never say no to a student that wants to rise. It is about every parent who believes their daughter deserves the same opportunities that their son. And this still happens today. And it is about every organization represented here, because we have many, that is working tirelessly to create pathways where barriers once existed and we're eradicating one by one. At International Internship University, we believe education is one of humanity's greatest equalizers. Today, IIU spans 195 chapters around the world, engaging thousands of educators and reaches hundreds of thousands of learners around the world. Yet our mission has never been about numbers. Our mission is about access. When the lockdown happened, Advocate Piyush Pandit, our founder, said, if everybody is in, let's bring everybody out together using technology. We have access to education, access to skills, access to opportunities. I always say with a device and a little bit of Wi-Fi, you can do this. Access to a future that might otherwise remain out of reach. Because when education expands, possibilities expand. When possibilities expand, communities grow stronger. And when communities grow stronger, we have wonderful, strong, and prosperous nation. This belief is also shared by our partners at Mahila Udyami, where we proudly declare that women are infrastructure. Women are not a social program. We're not a little project. We're not doing something nice or something pretty. Women are not intervention. Women are infrastructure, just as important as the roads that you travel with every single day, just as important as the energy that powers your house. This is how we have to see our women. Women are foundation upon the families, communities, and economies that are built. They are builders. Every investment in a woman creates a ripple effect. And that vision has been championed by a leader whose commitment to education, entrepreneurship, and nation building continues to inspire us all. It is my honor to recognize today the founder of International Internship University and the chairman of Piyush Group, our advocate, Piyush Pandit. Advocate Pandit is a visionary who understands that true development begins with people. Through his leadership, IIU has become a global platform connecting learners, educators, entrepreneurs, change makers, policymakers across continents. Every day I meet somebody new through this platform. And I want to welcome every one of you. Through Mahila Udyami, we do the same. We serve countless initiatives. And he is the co-founder of the incredible organization. And yes, amen. You see, collaboration is the key to sustainability. His vision is helping build a future where education is not limited by geography, economics, or circumstance, but available to all of us to see. So today, as we honor Malala's legacy, let us remember that the work is not finished. Millions of girls still face barriers to education today, believe it or not. Millions of young people still need access to skills and opportunities. Millions of voices are still waiting to be heard. But right now, you are their voice. May this gathering inspire us not only to celebrate progress, but to accelerate. May we leave here committed to building something big, but just not a program. Let's build systems that create opportunity. That is what we need today. May we continue opening doors where none existed before. And may we ensure that the next generation of girls grow up knowing that their dreams are not determined by where they were born, by who they were born to, but they're capable of becoming. Thank you for being part of this global movement. Thank you for carrying forward the work of Malala. And thank you for believing in everything that we do. Thank you, Linda. In a few minutes, I will be reading Advocate Fuchsia. I will send to you Advocate Fuchsia's message so we can read it.
Okay,
thank you. So let's start. Very excited to start.
Thank you, Virginia, for that wonderful message that we have to remember that when we educate a girl, we do more than simply change one life. We create a ripple effect that reaches generations. We know that educated women are more likely to build successful careers, become entrepreneurs, invest in their family, improve their family's quality of life, go back and help the rest of their family, and ensure that their children get an education too. So educating one girl truly changes the world. So thank you, Virginia, for your fabulous words and for the message behind them, which is amazing. Okay, so I'm going to call on our next speaker, who is an absolutely accomplished educator and academic leader. She is our Vice Chancellor and has helped us strengthen the IIU's global education vision. I hope I can't see her, but I hope she's in.
No, yeah, I think he's not here yet.
He's not here yet. No.
So let's call Miss Maha.
Call on. Sorry, the sound.
Maha.
Okay, all right then. So we'll call on Maha. Maha, who is someone you will truly enjoy hearing because Maha is just a force of nature. An EdTech expert and global strategist, Maha serves as Executive Director of Global Affairs at IIU and is dedicated to advancing accessible learning worldwide. And those are the people that we need connected to us and in our lives. So Maha Shhadeh, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, distinguished guests, respected educators, leaders, and change makers from around the world. Before I'm going to share my screen, I just would like to thank Linda for the energy and power you gave us. It's a great pleasure just to see you again. Thank you, really. We need your power here.
Yes.
Yes, just 1 minute. I think you can see, just to make sure you can see my screen. Okay, what's happening here? Okay. Can you see my screen? Yes. Can you hear me?
We can see.
Yes,
yes.
Okay. Sorry, I can start. Tonight, somewhere in the world, a young girl is looking at a screen. She may be watching others people live, the future she dreams of. Or she may be just entering a virtual classroom, meeting a mentor, discovering science, or developing an idea that could transform her community. The same screen can become a wall or a window. The difference is not the technology, The difference is opportunity. For millions of girls, talent is not the problem. Intelligence is not the problem. Ambition is not the problem. The problem is that opportunity doesn't always reach them. And that is why Malala Day matters. Malala's story began with one young voice, a voice that refused to disappear because it was heard. It crossed classrooms, countries, cultures, and continents. One voice became millions. Today, technology gives us the power to help millions of other voices across the borders too. A classroom is no longer only a room with a limited by four walls. It can exist on a phone. It can reach a village, a shelter, a home far from any school. A teacher in one country can inspire a learner thousands of kilometers away. Through my work with educators across different countries, I have seen what happens when people are given the right platforms. Ideas connect, collaborations begin, and distance lose some of its power. That is the promise of technology. But we must be honest, it is not yet the reality of everyone. We often speak about technology as though placing a device in a learner's hand automatically creates opportunity. Actually, it doesn't. A screen is not an education. A connection is not the same as inclusion. And access to artificial intelligence is not the same as knowing how to use it wisely, safely, and ethically. Technology can open doors, but it can also create new walls. A learner may have internet access, but no guidance. So what we needed is guidance. A teacher may have digital tools, but no training. So that's why we needed training. A girl may enter the online world, but find no safe space, no mentor, and no one telling her, you belong here. So the real digital divide is not only between those who have devices and those who don't. It is also between those who can turn technology into possibility and those who can never be given that chance. Who can do this change? Actually, we can. Every educator who teaches the students to think, question, and create opens that window. Every institution that is going to invest in teachers, not only equipment, open it's wider. Every technology expert who's going to design or who can design with accessibility, ethics, and the humanity in mind, allow more learners to see through it. And every leader who gives a young person a platform sends a powerful message. You do not just need to wait for permission to contribute. Technology actually shouldn't be a place where students only watch other people create. It should empower them to write, to design, to solve a problem, build communities, and transform their voices into impact. Because the greatest promise of technology is not that it makes information faster. It is that it can make opportunity travel further. Imagine a future where a girl address doesn't just determine the quality of her education, where her family income doesn't just decide whether her talent is discovered, where her gender doesn't determine how loudly she is allowed to dream. That future will not arrive simply because technology becomes more advanced. It will arrive because humanity becomes more international. We must choose to use innovation to include, not to exclude, to empower, not to replace, to connect, not isolate. Education actually empowers minds. Technology connects people to possibilities, and opportunities can turn potential into a future. On this Malala Day, let us not simply just admire college. Let us practice it. The courage to notice the learner being left behind, the courage to make technology more human, and the courage to share knowledge, access, and platform, the courage to believe that one opportunity offered at the right moment can change the direction of an entire life. Let me move next. Tonight, somewhere, as I mentioned in a word, a young girl is still looking at the screen. But the question here, will that screen show her a world she can only watch? Or will it open a world where she can help create? Let us continue the work Malala actually began. One learner, one opportunity, one courageous voice at a time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Maha. And that is profoundly true. We need a world that we have helped to create. We need more women designing the future where we are going to live, because we are going to live there. And as the Chinese say, women hold up half the sky. So let's make sure that half the sky reflects who we are. And so we need more women in technology, more women using technology, and more women with access to technology. So thank you so much, Maha, for your wise words. And I am going to now introduce the head, the president of IU, Women Entrepreneurs Council, an international diplomat, an educator, an advocate of women's leadership and entrepreneurship. Let's just agree, ladies, we have amazing people here with us today. Let's just agree on that. So it is my absolute honor to introduce Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Marine Mia. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Sister Linda. Wow, I love the energy. I love the vibe she creates there. It just makes us all want to keep going. Let's keep listening. I love that. Thank you so much for being you. I appreciate you, Linda. Thank you so much to everyone for okay right now, but I'm hoping that it also lasts for a little bit. Amazing day today, huge stuff to discuss. I know we have profound speakers that are here. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. But today is not just about being Malala Day. I think today is about creating an awareness more than anything else. We have to be, in terms of the from one voice to millions, we remember back then it was just them. And one of the things I do is I'm a transformational wellness advocate, right? When we talk about wellness, it's more than just your body, because true wellness is about the wellness of your mind, the access that you have, the power that you feel inside you to shape your own life. And that is exactly what I believe Malala fought for and what today is about, that education, that opportunity, that empowerment. Because wellness, like I said, it's the mind. If you deny a child education, then you're not just closing a school door, you're actually closing off the child's language to have a plan, just any plan. We close off the tools to understand what does injustice mean to this young mind, to this person, to this child. We close off that ability where they can use their creative sense within them to actually imagine what their future should be or can be. And that is why the education portion is so key, because that education becomes almost like their medication, the medication for their soul to grow, their mind to develop. It protects them. And Malala understood this from such an early age. Even as a child, she chose the pen over her silence. That is like the weapon of its own. Malala was there and she said, I'm going to give this word meaning. So, in her words, one child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. That is exactly what we're living today. And yes, as Dr. Virginia said earlier, and she was so right, that we still do have issues with our girl children. I mean, in Africa, very sadly, I still have girl children crossing a river to get to a classroom. I still have children being taught under a tree. We shouldn't be having that so close to 2030 when sustainable goals are going to be done, but we do still have it. I think, though, even though that's the bad, we still have to look at the positives. We have shifted so much, which takes us to the opportunity part of the theme for the day. Opportunity is what? We started with the knowledge, we got it, we're there, we got educated, but now what? We have to unlock the door. And when you talk about wellness, you talk about healing. You talk about healing in terms of an environment and what you're going through. And it's all about healing, though, what is continuously causing you pain. And when you learn through education, those opportunities become the environment where you can breathe. I learn how to do it. It's the safe path to my school now. The teacher is seeing my potential, so I'm getting that opportunity. The scholarship is going to come to me because I'm not going to drop out. I have my future ahead of me. That is how opportunity works. And Malala gave people that opportunity. With the trauma that she endured, it didn't become her stop. She turned it outward and she built schools. She's funded programs now. Like we spoke about her bond with her parents, she spoke for those who are still waiting. So right now it's all about us making the empowerment factor work, like we're talking about in the theme. What is empowerment? It becomes the can I? I'm going to. I will. I'm going to. I'm not going to question anymore. Why? Because every one of us on the platform are leaders in our own right. In whatever we are doing, we're making some form of a shift. Why? Because we're not waiting. We're kind of learning and living what Malala's principle is. We are now active. We're acting. So Malala could have chosen the silence when she was attacked and shot. She could have just said, you know what, trauma's here. I'm not going to shrink myself. I'm a girl. I can't. She chose the opposite. She chose to expand. She took that story of hers, the narrative became a service unto humanity right now. Because I know there are women, elderly women who are learning from Malala's example. So I'm going to just say in closing, Malala Day 2026 is actually not asking us to just talk about Malala. It's talking about how to create your wellness, systemic wellness to grow every child and every human being to know themselves, educate themselves, through learning about themselves, create opportunities to develop who they are, and through that, the combination of both empower themselves as humanity to grow together in peace, love, blessings. It starts with the three combined. So yeah, we're starting off talking about this girl who, spoke up, but she had a voice. And I'm saying all of us here need to also be that. Talking about it is great. We're going to have to take what we learn from each other. And I know there's amazing things I'm going to learn from every speaker here. We're going to take it forward. We're going to implement it to make it active in our societies, communities, your churches, your mosques, whatever. But you're going to build it through what we learn here in our schools. Make sure our children learn. Because when one heals, one teaches, it grows to leadership. And I truly believe our children are here because we have to pave the way for how they're going to lead us tomorrow, which is kind of what Malala did. She's paved the way. She's become the leader. She is the change. It's time for us all to do that to our future and our kids as well. So, yep, our future begins with that one voice. And I know all of us have voices today. So I'm looking forward to hearing everybody. Thank you to IU. Thank you to Dr. Virginia for making this happen. I am always, always so honored to be with IU and here. So looking forward to hearing from all of you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your words. And absolutely true. We all come from somewhere. Our experiences cannot be what defines us. I myself came from poverty, so it cannot be what defines us. But we need support and we need people who hold our hands and pull us up when they have voices. In my company, the rule is 20% of your time within working time of the company must be dedicated to a cause. Okay, must be dedicated to a cause, and I pay people to be dedicated to a cause, and that is absolutely fundamental. So we can all play a role. Not like last week, I was in a forum where I heard a gentleman say to me, "Don't worry, I put him in his place. The rules, the laws are available now. Women can do what they like. They don't. It's because they don't want to." Don't worry, he left with his tail between his legs because I did give him a 20-minute spiel on how ignorant and short-sighted that was. But it's absolutely important for us to show the way. Okay, so thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you. Now, our next speaker is the Executive for Administration, Marketing and Operations at the Piyush Group, supporting innovation, growth, and institutional impact. And of course, there could be no better voice than Shraddha Argawal. So Shraddha, thank you. I hope I did not assassinate your name because that was not my intention. Thank you so much, and the floor is yours.
Okay, so a very good evening, all distinguished guests, respected leaders, and esteemed panelists, and also from all across the world. So basically, it's a true honor to stand before such an inspiring gathering on the occasion of Malala Day 2026, right? So today, I would just say, am I audible? So I'm audible.
You are. You're perfect.
Okay, so basically, if you talk about this Malala Day 2026, right? So what changes the world? Is it power or is it technology? So for this, related to this, history gives us a very good answer, a very different answer and a unique one, that the world changes when one person refuses to accept that injustice is normal. What Malala did exactly that. She reminded us that courage is not measured by age, position, or influence. It is basically measured by the willingness to stand for what is right, even when the world tells you to remain silent. Right. So, one young girl who, armed not with weapons but with education, transformed a personal struggle into a global movement. That is the power of one voice. That is the power of one voice. But today, our responsibility is greater. Our goal should not be to admire just Malala's story. Basically, our goal should be to ensure that no child ever has to become another Malala just to receive the education they deserve. Education should not never be a privilege. It's a human right. And when a girl is educated, she doesn't simply change her own future. She basically changes the future of her family, her community, her nation, and ultimately our shared world. So, as we gather here from different countries, cultures, and backgrounds, we may speak different languages, but our responsibility is common. That is to create a world where talent is never only limited by gender. Here we are in this world where dreams are never interrupted by discrimination, and where also every child has the freedom to learn, to lead, and to live with dignity. So basically, today's theme, from one voice to millions, it reminds us that every movement begins with someone willing to speak. So perhaps the next voice that inspires millions is listening to us today. So let us be that opportunity. Let us not only celebrate change, but also become the reason change happens. And also, we all know this, that together, all of us, let us build a future where education is universal, there is no discrimination, opportunity is equal, and every voice has the power to shape tomorrow. So thank you so much, and I wish everyone a meaningful and inspiring Malala Day 2026.
Thank you, and thank you for your energy and belief. It really came out in everything that you said. And I think that what we tend to do is that we tend to be speaking to the converted. I do not believe any woman in this group does not believe in these words and the need to empower the generations, okay? Not only the daughters, the mothers, the grandmothers, the daughters, everyone. So we're all here. We have to go beyond this and take this wonderful message beyond us, to the rest of our communities, okay, and beyond. So I'm going to invite our country director for UAE at IIU. She is an educator, leadership advocate, international development professional, and of course, someone I've heard before with great impact and wisdom. So, Your Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Svidya Sukumar, I hope I say it right. I apologize if I don't. Please forgive me. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here the first year because I know most of them. My association with IIU has been there for years, and definitely it's a wonderful opportunity to talk about education, and that too amidst all eminent women. So it's a beautiful combination, right? So thank you, and definitely with a word of mention and gratitude to Dr. Linda Pereira, who has been such a wonderful sport today, as always. And so what else can we expect from her when it comes to Dr. Linda Pereira? And sincere thanks to Dr. Virginia, who comes with brilliant topics like this, how to associate women with education, lifelong learning opportunities, and making our place a better place to live in. Definitely, thank you so much. And every one of you, I thank Ms. Dr. Diana Richardson, I thank Ms. Dr. Mia, whom, and definitely Dr. Janet, many of them whom I've just worked very closely with in the recent days. Thank you so much. And all others who have joined me on the platform. Nice meeting you all. And let's see how we can put our thoughts together. So coming together is the beginning, staying together is process, working together is success. So how far this collaboration is going to take forward in the process of working together, that's what we're really saying. When you were to think about Malala and the thought of exactly that one statement of one word, one child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. And who is that one child? We are the one child because we are in the process of evolving. One teacher is definitely God. Next to God, we are our own teachers. The book that we create for ourselves is our life process. With that one pen, is we are the designers, we are the innovators, we are the architects of our own destiny. So we create the world, we collaborate, and we bring the change. So with that notion, definitely this has created a big impact upon the society, upon the environment, and taking it forward, definitely that's very beautiful. And we all know that Madam Malala has come up with a lot of campaigns with global advocacy with the fund, Malala Fund, and she has been standing as an epitome of resilience and focusing on equality with the gender equality with SDG 5, breaking it down with the other, connecting it to, integrating with other cycles forward to economic growth and building sustainable peace in developing countries. So that has been a big global impact that the Malala has created. Definitely, with that, on that note, if we talk about education, and if we really think, what does it really mean? According to me, I would say that education is a lifelong process. And if we think that the future of the civilization is provides in the walls of the classrooms, definitely not. Each and every experience in life is learning experience, and every single experience teaches something or other. Some come as a blessing, some come as a lesson for life. So it's definitely a learning situation for each one of us, not as a student, not as a teacher, basically. And it's of this paramount importance as educators, we on our shoulders that we carry this greater responsibility of creating an ideal ambience that shapes the minds of the learners for generations to come, because they are the inheritors of the earth. So what am I coming to is that let's think about, let's visualize a true enlightening education that can be built on the platform of love, respect, and commitment and devotion, such that it cultivates a curious, adaptable, agile mind, open-mindedness with open-minded learning abilities, guided by the modern principles, such that we create a new phenomenon or a formula for education, such that this deep sense of education will leave a self-reliant, self-disciplined, self-educative, like most responsible students who can remain steadfast in the commitments for doing what is right, no matter how the challenge is going to be. They will become the individuals who can equip themselves with their own skills, tackle those challenges enthusiastically, such that they are open to embrace the new opportunities which come their way, which comes in the form of challenges, which just become the blessing of opportunities later, such that we are creating a cult of respecting each other on this platform, and with uniqueness of trust and a bonding of work together. So such a feature of civilization that we are talking about, or the education that we are visioning together on this platform, cannot be created by single-minded effort, by a single hand or a unified effort. It can be created only by the collaboration like this, where we are allowed to share practices, come up with our own insights, inferences, such that I'm able to share what I've done. I'm going to many will be interested to learn from me or to know from me, saying that how this can be implemented in their own country, such that slowly and gradually we become the catalyst of change. And we are not just contributors of change, but we are practitioners of change, such that we go forward and bring the change, and we become the change that we are visualizing through. And definitely, since so many people are here gathered on this, this is what my vision of education is all about. But on the very, before this, there is a baseline that it has to be constructed with. That's a beautiful saying, which I would like to really think about, related to the peace of the world. Any change that we have to bring in the society, that stems from ourselves, because we created, we collaborated, and we celebrated, such that we evolve as a person first, and then we take it forward to the community. So the first change will begin from you, so that you will be able to exemplify this, and we will be able to take it forward. So in that case, let's have righteousness in heart, which becomes a beauty in our character. When there is beauty in the character, there is always harmony at our home, at our own side. When there is harmony in the home, we'll be able to take it forward as a order of the nation. When there is order of the nation, there is always peace in the world. In this current prevailing chaotic situation which is happening in the world, this is the appeal which I really put forward as a voice of the crowd today. Let's have right pieces. Let's look it for ourselves, take it forward to the community, so that we will be able to bring a positive change in the society in the name of education, such that right attitude in the right direction, in the platform of respect, and also with the embellishment of self-respect and the culture, the custom, respecting others, respecting every human, respecting every community, and respect for the nature is being celebrated, cherished, and catalyst for a cultural commitment. As said, allow me to share one simple quote from our Indian mythology. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma Amritangamaya, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That means Asatoma Sadgamaya means lead us from ignorance to truth. Let me realize myself. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, lead us from darkness to light. Give us all knowledge, so that my knowledge will illuminate the whole place, will enlighten the whole place, and others will be benefited by it. Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya, let the illumination doesn't stop within myself. Let it illuminate the whole place as enlightenment to liberation of their own misbelief, doubt, fears, all these things. Let them liberate their soul from that, such that it leads to a peaceful coexistence of making our place, taking everybody into consideration as themselves, and making the world a better place to live in. So with that message, I come.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you so much. Thank you. And the philosophy is exactly that, what we were talking about. It's a kind of a duty to share our knowledge and our know-how. I had a very wise grandmother who told me all my childhood. She lived through the Second World War, and she said that you have one job in life. One, you have two hands. One is to hold the ladder, and the other one is to bring a woman with you as you climb. Okay. And she instilled that in me since I was a child. And I truly believe it is selfish to climb the ladder and not make sure that our hand is stretched out to help another woman to climb. I still believe it today. So thank you, Ambassador. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So our next, sorry, I'm, my list of speakers suddenly went weird and went down the thing, so I do apologize. I'm trying to be efficient, and sometimes efficient doesn't work. So let me just bring my list up again. So apologies for some reason. My thing. It's your fault, Virginia. It's your fault, Virginia. Okay. So I apologize. Your fault, Virginia, because you're being so efficient that I lost my place in the order of things. So I apologize. I'm just, I may not wish to, but I'm human. Okay. I wish I wasn't sometimes, but I am human. So someone has their microphone on. That's the first thing. So could you make sure that your microphones are off? And I'm looking here. By the way, Sasha, I'm looking to introduce you. So I do apologize. I'm going to, here we are. I lost my place in the order of speakers. Please forgive me. I found
Ambassador Azralia.
Okay, so thank you so much. So Sasha is Kaluri is our wonderful, wonderful youth coach, mentor, and World Education Policy Ambassador, dedicated to empowering young people through leadership and purpose. And Sasha, I apologize, but someone rang me and my whole order of speakers went, "Ah!" So I do apologize and welcome, and the floor is yours. And I apologize for taking a long time to introduce you. Thank you, Sasha.
Sorry, I just had to close the door because my cat opened the door.
And Sasha, my wonderful Sasha is here.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, and I can't let my family
Good
wake
morning,
up.
Sasha.
Good morning.
Wakey, wakey.
Good morning. Good morning. I love being part of these events, and I'm very grateful that I'm always being asked to be a part of these events. And I can't help but think, when I think about these events, I look at how we've looked at how the world's changed in the last 100 years and the things that have happened, and how fortunate we are that women have got to where they are. And I loved your quote about, one hand climbing up and the other one grabbing another woman and helping her up. And I completely agree with that. I actually own a security company, and it's completely off what I normally work with young people, but in Australia, we have a building equality policy, and that building equality policy means that on all construction sites, 7% of women must work on all construction sites. And in Australia, we don't have 7% of women that can work on construction sites that are allowing them to work on sites, as in they're qualified tradespeople to be able to work on that. So what we have done is try and be a little bit creative on how we can actually get 7% of women on that construction site. And what I do is I have a company, and my company is called Security Sisters. And what I do is I employ marginalised women, and I train them up to be security guards. And that means that all administration that happens on security sites, who we let onto the security on the sites, who we let on, who we check, letting people in and out, making sure that we're looking after all the doors are locked, everything, all the security that happens on construction sites. What we are now doing is making sure that it's run by women. And what I do is I work with a whole lot of different organisations in order to be able to do that. And the security industry is often is an unsafe world for women, but we don't do bars or nightclubs or anything like that. We only work in the security world, and that means we're giving jobs to marginalised women. And the women that I work with are women that are surviving domestic violence, that have come out of domestic violence, and giving them, we're training them up and giving them a job. And in this job, you'll do, for a full-time day, you do 4 shifts of 12-hour days. And it sounds like it's long, but there's not a lot to do there. And what we do is we employ these women, and they can earn up to $1,500 a week. So that's an amazing opportunity for women. So we're working with marginalised women, women in domestic violence that are surviving domestic violence relationship. We're working with neurodiverse women, transgender women. We're working with our First Nations people. We're working with newly arrived refugees and migrants, and also asylum seekers, people with disabilities, long-term unemployed, also people that have women that are returning to work after being mums that haven't got can't get a job, and older women that are trying to get into the workforce that haven't been able to get into the workforce. We have in Australia, our highest statistic right now is of women that are over 50 that are homeless, and because that are leaving relationships that they've been married for 20, 30 years and being survivors of domestic violence and abuse, and they are, or their husbands have passed away and they no longer have funds to be able to be taken care of. And so we have a growing population of women in their over 50s that are becoming homeless. So again, that's another way of looking after them. Also, people that have would return to work after having an injury and can no longer work in those environments. So it's really about being creative on how we can actually employ women. Now, I'm not only employing women because I'm doing this to, in my job, as you know, I work with youth. And I believe if we're taking care of the woman, we're taking care of the family. So, the statistics actually say, the United Nations statistics actually say that 30 to 40 cents out of every dollar that a man earns, this is globally, worldwide, they give back to their family, whereas globally, worldwide, 90 cents out of every dollar that a woman earns, she gives back to her family. So if we're empowering women to have jobs that would normally not be able to have jobs in an industry that has never ever accepted women, we're now able to give them something and allow them to take care of themselves and be much more financial freedom for them as well. And we're giving them that power to work in that site. So that's just, for me, it's always, because I've worked with young people, I have an understanding on how to make sure that not only are we working with young people, but we also have to empower women, and they're the mothers and they're looking after families, and this in turn looks after them. Now, in my job, obviously, I train a lot of young girls. I work with young girls through education. What I'm now doing is I'm taking that same mold of what I do, but I'm now taking it over to doing this with women. So we're also running financial education. So women are understanding how to budget, how to make sure that they, we're doing self-defense courses. We're doing all, as part of the things that I normally do with girls, I'm now doing that with women. And I'm not just saying I want these women to stay with me for a long time. I'm actually saying this is an opportunity for them as a stepping stone, so they can utilize this, get some financial freedom. They can stay with me for a year, 2 years, and then educate themselves to move on. And part of that is, of what I'm doing, is I'm actually providing the space for them to get further education. So they're not just staying in a security role, they're actually moving forward from that. So I think that one of the things that you were just saying, Indra, is that we need to make sure that when we are developing these things, we're thinking about how we can actually provide a space and work with women and allow them to be able to have this safe space so that we can actually give them employment. It's up to us to think of ways how we can educate these women and how we can actually give them some employment and jobs and give them opportunities. Because in Australia, especially with asylum seekers, we don't get any, they don't get any kind of government assistance, don't get any kind of help with medical issues or anything. So they come out to Australia and they get nothing, no help. And so where do you start? What do you actually do? And so we're about educating these women, getting them their security license and getting them a job. Now, what's really interesting is that I'm getting women from like a variety of different, but highly educated women that aren't able to get employment in Australia because their certificates aren't recognised in Australia. So unfortunately, yes, I am getting women that are highly educated that have to do this. But we all know as women, when we've got a family to raise, we'll do whatever it takes. And sometimes these women are doing that. And that's why we're giving them a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes to help them. And as part of my job, there are 3 directors in my business, and there's myself, my business partner. She takes care of all the clients, the construction clients, and then we have my business partner, Sam, and he takes care of all the operations. My job is recruitment. So I feel like I have the greatest job out of all, because I literally spend my day with organisations and letting them know, hey, I'm going out to all marginalised women group and actively recruiting to people and finding ways. So, I'm literally Googling every kind of organisation, and, like I've just been speaking to the Ghanaian Women's Association and giving them that. I've got the Nigerian Women's Association. I've got the asylum seekers. I'm working with, domestic violence groups, all of those things where I get to meet these women. And as part of that, they tell me their stories, and I'm very lucky that they all tell me these stories of what they're doing. And then I give them a job. And so the more contracts I get, the more ability I have, and I'm very grateful that our government has come up with this scheme of giving them that 7%. What's happened is that they've not been able to fill that, and that's why we're getting as creative as possible about how to get women into this industry.
Thank you, Sasha. That was very inspiring. And thank you for all that you do. And in fact, we now know that globally, more women fall into poverty than men, and that there is, and the people who have other hurdles to climb have even more issues with that. And Sasha, can I just say, if you have time, look up an amazing program in Scotland called Twilight Careers, which is literally for women who either through becoming widows or through divorce, because women end up in poverty through divorce, or by being different in some way or having a different lifestyle or different view, has supported a lot of women. It's a great program anyway. You might want to look it up, because sometimes programs inspire us. So thank you so much, Sasha, for all you do and for all your hard work. I bow to you. I salute you. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, well done. Okay, our next guest, and I'm kind of going through the guests because we have so many wonderful people we want to hear from, is a passionate youth leader and member of the IIU Youth Council, and she's dedicated to inspiring young people to become global change makers. And we can no longer just think of our back garden. We have to think way beyond our garden, our city, our borders, because when one suffers, we all suffer. So I'm going to give the floor to Ambassador Azra Mia, and please take over with your wonderful, wonderful commitment to all this as well.
Thank you so much, Linda Pereira. I must say, I absolutely love your energy this whole time. You make me want to be more positive. So I absolutely love that. I want to say Assalamu alaikum to everyone here today. I greet you all in the universal greetings with peace and blessings to you from a very cold South Africa at the moment, but we pushed through. As you can see, I am a bit congested, so I haven't been feeling so well, but I'm here today to support the cause because I absolutely love the topic. So today we are here to observe Malala Day 2026. And when I personally hear the name Malala, I hear three words. These three words come to my mind: education, opportunity, and empowerment. Years ago, there was just one voice, Malala, and she was a student just like me. She wanted one simple thing: to go to school, because she spoke up and she faced danger, but her voice did not stop. It grew. That one voice had become millions, millions of girls who are now in classrooms because someone fought for their right to be there. Millions of boys and girls that believe that our future is not decided by our background, but by our books. Millions of students like us who know that speaking up matters. For me, education means more than homework and tests. It means choice. It means that I get to choose and I get to dream about whether I want to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, a teacher, an artist, or any career there is out there, and that I actually have a chance to become what I want to be. Education is what turns an I wish into I will. Opportunity, I personally believe, is that it comes after education. It is the scholarship that someone gives us, the safe school environment that we go to every single day, the teacher who stays late with us to explain something that students don't understand, and the internet that lets us learn anything when we need to and if we have to. Malala taught us that opportunity should not be a privilege. It should be a right for every single student everywhere across the globe. And empowerment is what happens when we get both. We are educated and we get opportunities. We stop waiting for someone else to change things. We change them ourselves. We ask questions, we help others, and we lead. Malala started with one voice, and that voice is millions strong today. So on Malala Day, I'm asking you, and I'm asking myself, and I'm asking all of us too. What will we do with our voice? The world changes when students like us decide to learn and then to lead. And I'm grateful to IIU for the honor and to be here today. Thank you so much. And to my mom, Dr. Dr. Mia, thank you as well for raising me to be that leader with my own voice too. Jazakallah khairan, barakallahu feek, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That was truly well said. Truly well said. Thank you. It's lovely to hear the voice of a young woman who knows where she's going and where she wants to be. Absolutely amazing. Thank you. Now, our next speaker is the founder and president of Diaspora Solidarity Group, dedicated to strengthening global commitment through collaboration and inclusion. And really, this is what we here are all doing. It's about collaborating and including. And we must always remember that is the basis of everything. So I'm going to pass the floor to Tio Akinola, who is going to talk to us about what she does and the amazing person that she is. Tio, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Linda. And first of all, I'd like to start with good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody that is joining us and watching us now from all around the world. And it's a really true honor to be here today. And again, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to both you and Miss Virginia Rivera for all this invitation and to create, first of all, this space where we can reflect, connect, and recommit to one of the most powerful forces for change, which is education. And today, as we are gathering under this super inspiring theme, I think this theme is really reminding us of something really profound. That first of all, change is really starting with one single voice, like one single voice that refuses to stay silent, that has courage, that speaks for justice, dignity, and possibility. One voice that dares to believe that there is a better future if possible. And Malala is a powerful example of this truth. Like, her courage really showed the world that education is not simply about books, classrooms, and exams, as many people believe, but it's about freedom and confidence. And it's about the ability to imagine that a future beyond the limitation imposed by poverty, discrimination, conflict, or circumstance. Today is not only about honoring Malala's extraordinary journey. It's also about continuing the conversation that she began. And it's about asking ourselves what happens when a girl is given the opportunity to learn. And the answer is really transformative. Like, when a girl learns, she gains knowledge, she's gaining confidence, she gains ability to make informed decisions. She gains courage to speak up for herself, for other girls, for other people in general, maybe which are less fortunate. She gains the power to participate in community, contributes to economy, and really shape the future. And when millions of girls around the world are given this opportunity, entire societies are changed. And through my work with Diaspora Solidarity Group and other various international educational and youth initiatives, I had the privilege to work with really young people from different backgrounds, including migrants, refugees, youth facing barrier to opportunities. And again, we witness the same truth, that talent is universal, but opportunity sadly is not. And I met many young women with brilliant ideas and deep resilience and enormous potential. And many sadly lacked access to quality education, mentorship, maybe networks, and at the same time safe spaces where they could grow and they could lead. And this is why education alone is not enough. Education must be connected to opportunity. And a girl, maybe she receives an education, but if she has no pathway to apply it, no support to pursue her leadership, and no environment that values her voice, her potential maybe will be unrealized. This is why today's three pillars are so important. Education gives us knowledge. Opportunity allows us to use that knowledge. And empowerment gives us the confidence and to create change. And together, these three elements become a powerful cycle of transformation. And we really need educational systems that don't simply prepare, students for exams or only for, simply tasks in life, but they prepare them for real life. Systems that encourage them to ask questions, to challenge leaders, to solve problems, to solve the problems of the future, because the problems that we have in future are not the same as the problems that maybe our ancestors have in some ways. And what also it's really important, and I want to remind that inclusion is not only optional as an addition to education, it is the foundation. So no child should be left behind because of gender, disability, migration status, language, socioeconomic background, and so on. And this is why Malala's message continues to resonate so deeply. It reminds us that investing in girls' education is not only charity, it's one of the smartest and the most impactful investment we can make for our own collective. So today, I would just like to challenge all of us, educators, policymakers, entrepreneurs, youth leaders, change makers, everybody that is watching us, to ask ourselves, how can we really create more opportunities for young women to lead? And how we can ensure that education is accessible, inclusive, and relevant? And can we provide mentorship? Can we provide resources or networks that help young people to turn their potential into action? And how can we even help with amplifying these voices that are often unheard? Because from one voice to millions is not only Malala's story, it can be our story too. Every time we mentor a young person, we create a ripple of empowerment. And in the same time, every time we support a girl's education, we invest in a stronger future. Every time we create an inclusive opportunity, we help transform a life. Again, your voice matters, your dream matters, your education matters. Don't let anybody tell you that your gender, your background, your language, your color, your circumstance, your limitations. You have the right to read, to lead, to learn, to innovate, and to shape the future. And to all of us that have a privilege, let's give a chance also to the ones that maybe were not born in the same privilege. A world where every young person can dream without fear and help creating also another world when one voice can inspire millions. And thank you again for this opportunity. Happy Malala Day 2026. And let us continue turning one voice into millions through education, opportunity, and empowerment. Thank you very much for all. And congratulations one more time.
Thank you, Tio. You know, Nelson Mandela, that was wonderful. Nelson Mandela once said that we have no right to hide our light. We have no right to not inspire others. We have no right to be walking the road and not pointing the way for someone else. And that is something that we all have to look back to who's coming down the road. So yes, Tio, thank you so much for your message. Our next speaker is an inspiring student leader representing the voice of the next generation and the future of education, because we need the current young generation to be the leaders and the beacons of tomorrow. So I'm going to pass the floor to the wonderful Christine Bassel Ajib, and I hope I did not destroy your name, Christine, and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon first. I want to thank IIU for the opportunity for letting me join and be a part of this amazing webinar. It's my first webinar, so I'm kind of a little bit nervous, but I chose the topic of I chose to talk about building inclusive schools where every girl belongs. I'm going to speak of personal experience because I'm a high school student in Alia National School in Bahrain. This school is an inclusive school that has a lot of Sen students and focuses so much on making sure that everyone is belongs there and everyone is valued and appreciated. I joined the school 4 years ago, and honestly, it taught me amazing. I don't know, it just what I've experienced when I've went through is just amazing. I would just love to share some of my experiences. I'd like to share my PowerPoint first.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yet now we can. You put it in presentation mode.
Okay. Beyond access, building inclusive schools where
It's
every
not in
girl belongs.
presentation mode. Put it in presentation mode. At the bottom, we can see the whole of
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Perfect.
Okay. So my name is Christine. As I said, I'm a high school student at Alia National School. It's an inclusive school that is committed to ensuring every student feels valued. So how do I relate inclusion to Malala? Malala has always fought for and talked about how each student should learn, especially girls, She fought to make sure and ensure that all girls received education. And just like inclusion ensures that everyone is committed and everyone is, there, they belong. So being part of such an environment in my school has shaped my belief that education is most powerful when every learner has the opportunity to participate, belong, and be valued. I've led debates, I was a leader, I enjoyed talking about a lot of things in my school, and it has offered me a lot of amazing opportunities. So, why does inclusion matters? If two girls walk into the same classroom but only one feels welcomed, have they truly both received, education? Inclusion, as I said, means that every student should be welcomed, respected, supported, and able to participate. When students feel like they belong and they join more, they become more confident, they'd like to participate, and they give their best, especially creative ones. Inclusion is more than disability. My school in Alia, we have this amazing code that we go by, or this small, saying that we follow. Inclusion is not a disability, it's just a different ability. And that has taught me that, my school doesn't care that, we're from different religions, races, if different backgrounds, because I'm not from Bahrain. I came from Lebanon, and that didn't differ the treatment I got. I quite the opposite actually. School cares for me so much, and it made me feel like I belong there. It's like my second home here. So many people think that inclusion only talks about disabilities, but no, it's like in reality, every girl deserves to belong, regardless of her circumstances, as I said, backgrounds or religion and whatever. Inclusion it includes girls who face barriers because of disability of learning differences, poverty or refugee status, different culture, language or religion, mental health challenges, race or ethnicity. Okay, so what are the barriers? First we have bullying and bias. We have low expectations, gender stereotypes, fear of speaking. Sometimes adults expect less of children, and especially girls. They believe that girls can't achieve a lot, or they achieve less, which is wrong. Girls need girls need support. Girls need to be supported by everyone around them, their school, their parents, and everyone, for them to be able to participate. Girls aren't good at math. Be quiet. They must shape future. This is gender stereotypes, the differentiation between two genders. Fear of speaking. Some girls sometimes aren't confident enough to go and talk. They get scared. And bullying. And that's why we need to be able to support every single girl like Malala wanted. We need to be able to offer them support. We need to be there for them. And we need to give them different types of support. So, what are some ways girls learn best when they feel safe, accepted, heard, encouraged? Belonging is not a reward for success, it is the foundation of success. First, they have to feel safe, free from judgment, fear, harm, emotionally and physically. They need to feel accepted, like around them. They need to feel like everyone accepts them, they're there for them. Heard, ideas, questions, and concerns. One thing that, in my opinion, affects not only girls, just people in general, is their opinions being heard, or when they voice their opinions. For example, if I wanna in my school right now, if I do have an opinion, or if I want like to change something special, I can go to talk to anyone in my school that had, for example, the head of high school, the vice principal, anyone, and my voice is heard. I don't feel, differentiated based on my religion, based on my ethnicity, based on my, backgrounds. No, everyone is heard, and that's like super important to me. And then finally, encourage, challenge to grow, celebrated for efforts and believed in. They need to be, as I said, believed in and challenged. How can we make schools more inclusive? First, listen to students. As I said, it's so important to give students, to let them voice their opinions and talk about how they feel. Challenge stereotypes, interpret bias in curriculum, language, and expectations. Celebrate diversity, support our learning styles, and create leadership opportunities. Finally, I would like to talk about how Malala fought so girls could enter classrooms. Our responsibility is to ensure every girl can thrive once she gets there. Access opened the door, inclusion invites every girl inside. So education gives a girl a seat in a classroom, inclusion gives them the confidence to raise their hand, share their voice, and change the world. And its a voice means a truly empowered girl is not only one who enters the classroom, she is the one who feels seen, valued, respected, confident enough to shape her own future and inspire others to do the same. Every girl's voice deserves to be heard. Every girl's futures deserve to be bright. Thank you so much, everyone. And I would like to thank you again for this amazing opportunity, for letting me speak. And I'm really so grateful.
Thank you, Christine. You are most welcome. Please don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn because I do a lot of free training on speaking in public, etc. And you're most welcome to join because I think that you have a great future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, Christine mentioned a notion that is very dear to my heart, and that's exactly her message. Inclusion does not mean inviting everyone to the party. Inclusion means inviting them to the party and then inviting them to dance when they are at the party. That is what inclusion is, because we very often talk about inclusion by saying we know what is best for you. We know how you think. We know, and Christine was actually making that ask people what they need, what they think, what they believe, and that is fundamental. So inclusion is about inviting them to the party, and then when they are there, inviting them to dance. Thank you, Christine, for bringing a new perspective to the table. Okay, our next intervention comes from the founder and CEO of the Unbreakable Women Global Leadership. And I love that word, unbreakable, because if there is anything we know about women is resilience. Okay, that's we stand for. It's almost in our DNA. So this person is also a globally recognized advocate for women's leadership. And this is fundamental because women are not just leading today, they're actually changing the way that leadership is in place. So welcome, Your Excellency, Ambassador Jeanette Mata. It is your time to shine.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all. Thank you to IIU. Thank you to Dr. Rivera. And I want to invite you, please, let's give a round of applause to Linda. Linda, your energy is contagious. Your energy it makes me want to jump, and we can't jump, but I'm jumping in my seat. Thank you for the energy that we need all over the world. So thank you. Thank you. Before I start, I'm looking, and unbreakable is that this is the representation of what unbreakable women is. And we cannot forget the unbreakable women that made us be here today as leaders, either a grandmother, a teacher, your mom, because they need to be recognized too, because they are our foundation. And we are Malala's foundation, and Malala is the foundation of her future generation. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Distinguished leaders, honored guests, fellow advocates, and friends from around the world. Today we gather not simply to commemorate a date on the calendar. We gather to honor a young woman whose courage has become one of the greatest moral voices of our generation. Standing before you today to speak about Malala is not simply an invitation. It is a privilege that I receive with profound humility and deep admiration. Few people remind us so powerfully that one courageous heart can illuminate the path for millions. There are moments in history when humanity is reminded that greatness is not determined by age, title, or position. It is revealed through courage. Malala gave the world that reminder. Some lives are measured by the years they live. Others are measured by the hope they awaken. Malala's life has awakened hope in every corner of our world. Some voices are so powerful that they do not simply enter history, they change it. Today, we honor a young woman whose courage transcended borders, cultures, and generations. Malala reminded the world that the most powerful force against oppression is not violence. It is education. It is courage. It is the unwavering belief that every child, especially every girl, deserves the opportunity to learn, to dream, and to lead. When extremists attempted to silence Malala, they believed they were stopping one child. Instead, they ignited a global movement. One voice became millions. One classroom became a worldwide call to action. One young girl reminded us that the future of our world will never be secured by denying opportunity. It will only be secured by expanding it. Yet today, millions of girls still wake each morning wondering whether they will be allowed to attend school, whether their dreams matter, whether their voices will ever be heard. That question should never depend on where a child is born. It should never depend on poverty. It should never depend on culture. Education, as we know, is not a privilege. Education is dignity. Education is freedom. Education is hope made visible. Throughout my own journey in leadership and human rights, I have witnessed something extraordinary. When we educate one woman, we strengthen a family. When we empower one woman, we strengthen a community. But when we give one girl permission to dream, we transform generations. That is Malala's legacy. Not simply that she survived, but that she transformed pain into purpose, fear into courage, silence into leadership. And perhaps that is the lesson each of us must carry with us today. Every one of us has been given a voice. The question is not whether we have one. The question is, what will we do with it? Will we use it to divide or to unite? Will we use it to criticize or to create? Will we use it to remain comfortable or to protect the dreams of children we may never, ever meet? History has never been changed by those who waited for someone else. History has always been changed by those who decided, I will be the voice. So today, let us honor Malala, not only with our admiration, but with our actions. Let us build opportunities where barriers once existed. Let us mentor girls whose potential has yet to be discovered. Let us defend the universal right to education. Let us create pathways to leadership. Let us become the generation that ensures no child must ever risk her life simply to learn. Because one voice can become millions. One act of courage can inspire the world. And one educated girl can change the destiny of an entire nation. So I leave you with this thought. Let us make sure she gets that chance. Because the next Malala may be listening to us today. So thank you. May God bless each of you. May God continue to bless every child whose dream is waiting for someone to believe in it. And may we never underestimate the extraordinary power of one voice to change the world. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. And thank you because we often forget that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. We often forget that nothing has ever in history been given to women. Everything that we have, be it the vote, equal rights, equal pay, whatever we have fought for, struggled for, demanded, stood up for each other. So our generation is living in privilege. It's not the world we want yet, but we are living in privilege. And it is our duty, our obligation as women and as human beings to change for the next ones coming along and to leave it a little better than we found it. So thank you, Jeanette, for reminding us that it is a duty, it is an obligation, it is not a choice. And if you make that choice, I'm eliminating you from my social media, okay? Because that's it, okay? All talk, no action, you go. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our next speaker, I'm very proud again. It's all, everyone is brilliant. So I'm kind of taking notes as I'm listening and taking notes. Ladies, I only have two hands. Do not be so brilliant because I have no time to take all these notes. Be a little less brilliant. Okay. So our next speaker is educator, UN Global Schools Program mentor, TEDx speaker and author. Of course, she wrote Woman on the Wings of Climate Change. Great and impactful issue for all of us. And she focuses on advancing sustainability and education worldwide. We need many voices, and especially women's voices. Again, going back to what other speakers have said, to build the world where we are going to live. So thank you very much. The floor is yours, Elif Selkuch. Elif, my darling, love your smile. You are in silence. Okay.
Thank you, Linda. Firstly, I want to share my screen.
Okay.
Just a minute, please.
Of course.
I'll try again.
Yes, we are not seeing it yet.
I don't want to leave a technical problem.
Yes, I'm seeing your computer, but not your screen. Not your okay. So you can put in presentation mode now.
Can you see it?
Well, yes, I can see it now. If you can put it in presentation mode, it'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. Just a minute, please.
It's not in presentation mode. Click underneath to the right to make it a presentation mode.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
I can see it, but it is not in presentation mode. Put it in presentation mode, which is to the right of your screen at the bottom, the third icon. Click and put it in presentation mode.
I know how can I do this?
Or you can go to slideshow. There's
Go
also
to
a
slideshow, yes.
slideshow pick.
Yeah, thank you, Virginia. Second option, yes. Otherwise, that's okay. Just put it on your first slide. We can see it anyway, but it's not on your first slide. Could you put it on your first slide, right at the top?
Okay. Who is Elif teacher? She is a writer and United Nations Global Schools Program advocate and mentor.
Yes.
TEDx speaker and trainer.
Yeah.
And speaker in universities. She has national and international awards, and also UK awards. Just a minute, please. Okay. Today, instead of delivering a traditional speak, I'd like to share a letter from my book. It is a letter written by Nia, a young Ethiopian refugee girl whose life was transformed through education. This letter is addressed to Malala Yousafzai. Dear Malala, The Swat Valley had once again turned emerald green. It was true that a brave little girl was born, one who would one day change the future of countless children. Sometimes the universe entrusts its greatest thrills to its strongest souls. Your story began exactly that way, surrounded by shadow, yet carrying light in your eyes. From the moment you opened your eyes to the world, books and pencils become your companions. The hours you spent in your father's library did more than fill your mind with knowledge. They awakened within you a calling to stand up for justice. You chose your pen because you knew that words could create echoes no weapon could never silence. At a time when schools were being closed and girls were denied the right to learn, you became not only a voice but a symbol of courage and resistance. At the age of 12, your writings for BBC Urdu became a window through which the world could witness the reality of life in this Sweat Valley. Your words gave voice not only the girls of your homeland, but also to countless others around the world whose dreams had been silenced. Yet your courage made you a target one day. On your way home from school, they tried to silence you. What they didn't know was that your story would not end there. It would become a beginning of an even greater journey. Exile, to be torn away from your homeland and separated from everything you love. You became more than a refuge, you became a courageous young woman who carried the spirit of her homeland wherever she went. When you said being a refuge means worrying that